Hello folks, it's David Connolly, the web developer extraordinaire. I apologise for my general demeanour, for my camera colour going, you can see it's flashing, and for generally being a little bit ill prepared. But this is a breaking news story and I want to get onto this before this particular story leaves the vortex. Now I'm going to be reading a lot of this and I do hope you'll forgive me. I'm going to have things like my little cat coming in, hello Coco, and all of that. So I do apologise for that. Nevertheless, there's a few things that we have to talk about and I want to make sure that I get this right because some of this is quite serious. So, on November 29th, 2017, Fabien Potencier, the creator of Symfony, proudly introduced Symfony's diversity initiative. In his article, he wrote, quote, "What's the biggest challenge for Symfony as a community? Diversity," unquote. Since then, the makers of Symfony have gone on to host their SymfonyCon event at Disneyland, a peculiar choice of location for the makers of a PHP framework. Within the last 24 hours, undercover footage has emerged showing a senior executive of Disney speaking in detail about Disney's racist hiring policies. The example discussed in the footage is of an interviewee described as being, and I quote, half black, unquote. It appears that this interviewee was refused employment for not being black enough. Interestingly, the senior Disney executive then suggests that Disney uses, and I quote, code words and buzzwords, unquote, to disguise Disney's racist and almost certainly illegal hiring policies. The executive further states, "It feels like there's going to be a lawsuit at some point." And that was a quote, of course. Now I have some questions for the makers of Symfony. 1. What were the main factors that led you to choose Disneyland as the venue for your framework conference? 2. Was the article published by Fabien Potencier on November 29th, 2017, laced with the types of code words and buzzwords that were alluded to by the senior Disney executive? 3. Do the makers of Symfony think it's acceptable to deny employment opportunities based on skin colour? 4. Do the makers of Symfony stand by their decision to host their conference at Disneyland? And 5. How would the makers of Symfony respond to the proposition that they are fighting imaginary racism by supporting real racism?